Here are the top 4 wide receivers to sell in 2025 Dynasty Fantasy Football. Number 4, Courtland Sutton, Denver Broncos. Will be 29 years old this season. Sutton's coming off a career year. 1,081 yards, 8 touchdowns, 81 catches. First time since 2019 that Sutton had more than 829 yards. Now, when was Sutton at his best last year? It was weeks 9 to 13. He really clicked in with Bo Nix in that offense. At least 70 yards in each of those games, 97 or more yards in 3 of them. And then all of a sudden, the week 14 bye hit. And Sean Payton had been talking for 2 years, promising, I'm going to get Marvin Mims involved. Yeah, well, we don't believe you, Sean. Well, guess what he did after the week 14 bye? He got Marvin Mims involved. And Marvin Mims, it wasn't a ton of targets, but they were high leverage targets. And all of a sudden, when Marvin Mims became like a legitimate player in the offense, well, guess what happened to Courtland Sutton? He averaged 46 yards over his next 3 games. Now, in the last 2 years, Sutton's been gold with touchdowns, 18 touchdowns. Sean Payton has been great making sure he gets there. But in the prior 5 seasons, Sutton only had a total of 14. So here's the deal. We come into the season. Career year, that's always a great selling point first. 29 years old, I said that earlier. He's probably getting closer to the end. Marvin Mims started to become a thing. And then they had Evan Ingram. Now, Sean Payton has already said Evan Ingram is going to be used as a joker, which, of course, you're going to use him that way. He missed time last year, 7 games Evan Ingram did, but he was on pace for that normal 600 to 700 yards. Better than Adam Troutman and what they had. So they have a weapon there. So all of a sudden now, Courtland Sutton goes from being the only game in town. Now there's 3. And Denver adds Talanoa Hufanga at safety, Dre Greenlaw at linebacker to a very good defense. That defense could be better. And we know Sean Payton, they're probably going to get a running back in the draft because their running game didn't work last year. We know ultimately he wants to run the football. He wants to play defense. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want Bo Nix throwing a ton. If he has to, they will. They want it to be balanced. Pass attempts are going to be lower, and Sutton's splitting work. So I would sell Sutton in Dynasty while he has that value coming off the career year and in a situation that's probably going to get the ball to him far less than we had seen when he was at his best. All right, we will go with number 3, Terry McLaurin, Washington Commanders. Now, Terry McLaurin, what a great year he had. We were waiting for this one for years. He's always been such a wonderful receiver. But what was interesting about Terry McLaurin and why he's a sell? Did you know that other than the touchdowns, it was the same season he's had for 6 years? It was always between 77 and 87 catches, between 1,002 and 1,191 yards. I know there's a little bit of a gap there, but it's close. And last year, actually, his 117 targets, he usually gets 120 to 134, but it was touchdowns. McLaurin had averaged 5 with a high of 7 during his first 5 years. And then he gets 13 with Jaden Daniels. We know how those touchdown season goes. Those are very tough to replicate. But the perception that fantasy managers and Dynasty are going to have is McLaurin hasn't shown signs of slowing down, so we probably got a few years left. Jaden Daniels is going to rejuvenate him. But they're not going to realize that McLaurin was not that much better aside from the touchdowns. You can't predict those from year to year. Deebo Samuel's now in town, and I know he's on the back end. But again, that's just a little more distraction. And if the Commanders get a little better on defense, they might not find themselves in all these crazy shootouts they were in when they were placed with the good teams. This is a great time to sell an outstanding NFL player who's been great for a long time, coming off that high touchdown season. Hey, if you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting that like button and subscribe to the RotoWire Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. And did you know we can get you free 2-day trial? You don't need a credit card at RotoWire. You can check out all of our sports. We have all the sports, all of our coverage, our rankings, our articles. You go to rotowire.com/Jim, check it out, see what you like. If you like it, join our team. If not, hey, it's cool. You took a look. We appreciate that very much, and we'll continue to interact however we interact. We'd love to have you on that team. All right, players, we're going to sell them Dynasty. Oh, I'm not going to be liked for this one. It's all right. We're not here to say people like it. We want to get these ideas out here. Number 2, Xavier Worthy, Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, Worthy was amazing down the stretch last year. Starting in week 11, he came out with a prominent role, at least 9.9 PPR points from week 11 through every remaining game he played. Now, he didn't have any week winning performance. He had a 22.9 PPR game. It was the best of the season. Now, coming into the league, many thought that Worthy would be a deep threat. I mean, look, he's 165 pounds. You don't want him over the middle of the field. That durability is going to be an issue, right? Well, ends up his average depth of target, 6.5 yards, 32nd percentile. And after the catch, he was schemed up so well, and he was so talented, 90th percentile. Now, remember, beginning of the season, it started out week 1, a couple of gimmicky plays. He had that jet sweep that was blocked perfectly. But from weeks 2 to 10, he did very little. Posted fewer than 5.5 PPR points 5 times, only hit a high of 16-3 in those games. But here's the thing. Xavier Worthy's a good player. There's no question. But here's the deal. Marquise Brown purposely got brought back. Obviously, sternoclavicular injury in the preseason. He missed the season, most of it. Rashee Rice obviously got serious injury after week 3. This year he has like a legal situation, maybe back from the injury. But you're talking Dynasty here. And Rashee Rice is going to be a fixture in that offense for some time. And Marquise Brown looks a 1-year deal, but they kind of show what they want to do. Xavier Worthy is probably never going to command the level of target share that he commanded from week 11 on last year. He'll break down probably if that happens. You can't work him like that, I don't think. And that said, Rashee Rice, like I said, other players involved. And I think ultimately, this is a great sell high on a very good football player. But the price you probably could get for him is one he's probably not going to earn for you if he's on your roster in Dynasty long term. Number 1, I hate saying these names, Zay Flowers, Baltimore Ravens, another very, very good football player. Good season, 1,059 yards, 4 touchdowns, 74 catches. As a rookie, too many short passes. I call him the Screen King. It was just 7.9 yards per target. It wasn't very good. 2024, though, they upped it, 9.1 yards per target. That was great. But overall, he just ends up with 201 yards extra, 3 more catches. So it was fine. The yards got him yardage, so we're happy for that. And his yards after the catch were still great, 85th percentile. But here's the problem. It was a tale of 2 seasons. The Ravens had 2 epiphanies last year. After week 3 or so, they started to realize, oh, we got Derrick Henry on our team. We got to use this cat. And they used that cat pretty well. Derrick Henry started doing well. Well, Zay Flowers, and I'll get to him in a second, started to see a little less work. And then late in the second half of the season, all of a sudden we saw shotgun, Lamar Jackson shotgun. They were running out of shotgun. That running game blasted off from there. Henry and Lamar were through the roof. So here's what you need to know about Zay Flowers. So the first 9 games, 5 of those games, he had 18.5 PPR points or more. In the last 8 games, he never surpassed 11.9 more than one time. He had a 15-3 in week 16. Otherwise, everything was close to 10. So that trend is probably going to continue. And I think Derrick Henry is probably going to play a couple more years. I know he's aged. I get the age. He has shown no signs of decline. And if this is who the Ravens are, and they established that identity late in the season, they're not going back. This is a run football team. And you bring in Bateman, who's about 3rd year, going into his 4th year, improved last year. He's going to get targets. Mark Andrews back for another year. Isaiah Likely. The targets just aren't going to be there for one receiver. And we saw in the second half of the season when they got that run game going, Zay Flowers is a sell for that very reason.